Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a very windy UK. It's beautifully sunny, but it is the 14th of December today and it's rather windy. Say hello to Mr. Red Kite, literally right above my head. Why? Why do they do this when I start recording? Amazing, beautiful. Anyway, so I'm kind of walking at a weird angle, I apologise, but that is because I'm trying to shelter the mic from the wind. So anyway, today's video, we've just come out for a bimble, that's pigeon, just to basically see what's out. I've got a bit of free time. It's probably going to be my last trip out before Christmas, so I'm trying to battle the winds and hopefully get some shots in and get a video up for you guys. Now, I am going to make a topic on today's video, and there is a reason why. We're heading into the January sales, and I want to talk about 5 things that I couldn't live without for my wildlife photography. Now, we're going to get straight into that. Number 1, a good pair of gloves. Now, there are a lot of companies out there who make decent gloves. Companies like Valorette. Now I use sealskin, waterproof clothing, absolutely fantastic. And they make these gloves, and I believe they call them their sports gloves, which have the pop-off fingers, which makes them ideal for photography. Now, why are decent gloves essential? Let's be honest about this. We don't want to limit our time out with the camera. There is a red kite just back there again, I apologise. We don't want to limit our time out with the camera to just absolutely beautiful weather. Where are you going, Mr. Kite? So a pair of gloves is essential. When I went out and did my Yorkshire Dales trip, I didn't realise my gloves were in my camera bag and my hands were freezing, which really makes photography really difficult because your hands freeze up. Yeah, horrible, absolutely horrible. So I would recommend checking them out. You can buy sealskin gloves on, I'll be honest, Amazon. It's not an affiliate or anything like that. You can buy sealskin gloves on Amazon and they're not that expensive. So photography wise, I've already been doing some shoots with some red kites. Nothing absolutely fantastic at the moment. One landed in a tree in some distance beyond some really twiggy area. I tried to get some B-roll of it, and it was, in this wind, it was really difficult. If any of it came out all right, I'll stick them up. I'll stick up the first lot of pictures, and we'll come back and talk about the 4 other essentials for wildlife photography. Okay, so that wind isn't letting up. I haven't come very far. I was just watching some birds on the edge of the stream. Unfortunately, there was nothing photograph worthy. So I thought I'd come back to you guys anyway. And we'll discuss the second essential item for wildlife photography. And it ties in with gloves, which is why I wanted to do this one next. And it is a really good jacket. Now, the reason I say that, again, it boils down to not limiting your time out to perfect weather conditions. Today's a bit chilly. As I say, we are in December, and there is nothing worse than being really cold when you're out with the camera, or just not going out because, I'm just going to turn this way a little bit away from the wind. Yeah, not going out because it's a little bit chilly. Get yourself a decent jacket. You don't even have to spend an absolute fortune. Go to somewhere like Regatta who make brilliant jackets. That's what I'm wearing now. I've got another regatta jacket at home. Trespass is another company that I have an absolutely amazing jacket from. They keep me nice and warm and allow me to come out in all weather conditions, even when it's blowing a wind like this. And I can't feel it at all. Now, bottoms are also important as well. You need to keep yourself totally warm because you don't want to come out and just be miserable because it's cold. You want to stay warm. So I would also recommend getting yourself some decent bottoms. But as today, it's not as today, I'm just wearing a pair of jeans. The wind is not cutting through them. My legs are actually okay. But a good jacket for me is always essential. So yeah, there's the first two, gloves and jacket. I know they tie in, but for me, they are massive things. Now, I've not had any more sightings for the photography just yet. Those kites seem to have disappeared. Sorry if you can hear the wind. Man, it's blowing those trees around. Yeah, I'm not sure today's going to be the most successful of photography trips. I'd say it's probably the last time I'm going to get out before Christmas. But yeah, you never know what you're going to see. As is often with my videos, it's usually not until about halfway through that I end up getting some decent stuff. Red kite over there in the distance, flying over the bridge you have to cross the stream on. So, always in the wrong place at the wrong time. So, anyway, yeah, we'll come back and talk about 3, 4 and 5 in a bit. I'm going to actually see if I can get any decent pictures today. Okay, so photography wise, I've not exactly had the best of times out. I was literally heard this squawk behind me and a heron had flown out onto the field behind the meadowy bit, and I was like, oh, he's just sat there, I'll get some B-roll. And he's just sat there hunkered down a little bit, and then he starts to look around and stuff, and I was like, oh, I'll stop recording now and I'll actually get some pictures. Now he's in a nice position. While the camera was switching to video, from video to photography mode, he literally just flew off. I was like, are you joking me? Typical. Got some couple of shots of a blue tit as well, but nothing major. Yeah, bit of a struggle today, if I'm honest with you. Although if I'd have got those pictures of the red kite when I was chatting to you guys previously, it probably would have been classified as a successful trip. Anyway, let's come back and talk about number 3 then, essential gear. Now, going to move into more equipment now, and that is multiple batteries. Now, I'll be honest with you, modern batteries nowadays are actually really, really good. The longevity of them is so much better than earlier digital cameras. However, I never turn my camera off when I'm on a bimble. The reason for this is because I do not want to miss a shot. So, why would I risk it? The thing with wildlife photography is it's very fleeting. If it was landscape photography, I used to have a spare battery with me for landscape photography. Cormorant. But I never needed it because I would go to a location, turn my camera on, grab the shots. Things weren't fleeting. They really can be with wildlife photography. So I never ever turn my camera off when I'm on a bimble like this, or any kind of wildlife shoot, be sat in a hide or anything. Now the thing with that is your camera will chew through batteries like there's no tomorrow. So I always have at least one spare, if not two, in my bag, because I do go through them. It's quite frequent I have to change my battery when I'm out for a few hours for a bimble. I'd say with landscape photography I never had that problem, but I really do with wildlife. I do not want to miss those moments, and why risk it? So the Sony NP-FZ100 batteries that my A7R4 and my A1 use, they're £65 at full price. Yes, it's 130 quid to buy a couple of spares along with your main, but at the end of the day, if you can get them on sale, do it. Which, as I say, I wanted to highlight here. If you can find some on sale in the January sales, get yourself spare batteries. You will not regret it, because it will help you not miss that shot. So yeah, there's number 3. We'll come back and talk 4 and 5 in a bit. I am just having a walk around to a different area now. That wind's just picked up again. I will stick up the B-roll of the grey heron if it's actually come out all right, and any of those blue tit shots that came out fine. And I'm just going to see if I can actually see anything else. It's not been the most successful of days still, but we shall see what else we can see. Okay, so essential item number 4, and that is a high capacity, fast memory card. Now, I've been caught out in the past with slower memory cards, and I've also been caught out by filling memory cards before I actually upgraded and spent some good money on really good memory cards. Now, most modern cameras, the mirrorless ones, take the CF Express memory cards, and I can vouch for them being so much better than SD cards. I currently use a pro grade Iridium. It's a 480 gig. It allows about 3,500 full-sized raw shots from my Sony A1, and I swear by it. I have never had a problem with lockup when I've been hammering the shutter. I've had no problem with buffering. Now, when I went out in my last Bimble video from Neem Washes and I was taking the pictures of the red kite, I did, for the first time in I cannot remember how long, smash the buffer. Now the reason is I wasn't using a CF Express. I was using an SD card because I forgot to pack my good memory cards, and yeah, I do have some faster SD cards, and they're absolutely fine for most digital SLRs, which have probably got smaller megapixels, taking smaller frames, not smaller frames, files, smaller files. And for that, absolutely fine. Now, I apologise, I'm probably going to turn dark because I'm turning my back to the light. Yeah, so I cannot stress enough, good quality, fast, high capacity memory cards. Again, for the same reason as batteries, you do not want to miss that shot. And if your camera locks up the buffer because you've hammered too many shots through it, or you run out of space on your memory card, and I'll use Langford Lowfields as an example. I was walking back to the car. If I'd have had a really successful day down at Langford Lowfields and I'd have filled my memory card and I'd have attempted to get that fox shot and I had no space left on my memory card, what would have happened? So it's a good, solid, sound investment. A lot of cameras as well nowadays, the mirrorless ones, have dual memory card slots. There is no issue if you wanted to stick a couple of memory cards in there and have it continually write from one into the other. It just means you will not miss that shot. There are other manufacturers out there as well. Obviously you're looking at companies like SanDisk, Lexar, ProGrade are fantastic. There are cheaper ones manufactured as well by a company called Pergear. I've got 3 of their memory cards, I think, and they are good as well. They are cheaper. However, for reliability, I cannot fault ProGrade. Quick backstory, they're actually a company that was set up by ex-execs, I think it was, or designers at least, of Lexar, and Lexar have been around for donkey's years. So yeah, they are actually reasonably affordable compared to some of the bigger brands, and the memory card's fantastic. So yeah, again, January sales, don't be shy, get yourself some new memory cards. Okay, so fantastic experience that has totally made coming out today absolutely worthwhile, and we'll come back and talk about that in a minute. But I'm going to just come on to item number 5, and that is a good camera strap. Now, weirdly, and this is why I've left this one till last, I used to hate camera straps. Still do, actually, in fairness. I don't like camera straps. However, that wasn't a problem when I'm photographing weddings, graduations, landscape photography. They annoy me. They used to get in the way all the time. You're trying to get yourself up to the eyepiece and you've got this neck strap all in your face, and I hate them. Absolutely hate them, to the point I just stopped putting them in my camera. On my camera, sorry. Now, started doing wildlife photography and trying to carry around the, at the time, A7R4 and Sigma 150-600 crippled my shoulder. I'd carry it around by the tripod mount and it just hurt. Let's be honest about this, the gear is heavy. When I'm shooting weddings, I've usually got a lot lighter lens on. I usually use my Samyang 35-150, which isn't the lightest of lenses, but when you compare it to something like the Sigma 150-600, it's a lot lighter. Even when I was using my Canon 5DS, which is by no means the lightest camera on the market, coupled with some of my other lenses like the Sigma 50mm prime, another lens that's not very light actually, my Sigma 24-35 f2.8, don't know, awesome lens though, absolutely awesome lens, but it weighs a ton. However, not so much a problem when I'm literally getting it out of my camera bag, plonking it on the tripod. And if you've got the strap in the way, it used to drive me nuts. But Black Rapid sling style camera strap, this thing has been an absolute saviour for my shoulders. I swear by it now, and I would never ever go back to just carrying my camera. Now, I have just seen a bird down there, which is why I've just stopped. However, let's just come back to the awesome experience. Kingfisher. Just walking along the edge of the stream, river, thing, whatever. Brook, I don't know. And yeah, just finished filming that last bit for you guys. And next thing I know, blue streak just flies along the river, lands in a tree. So I literally drop my vlogging camera, shimmy round to where he landed, where I could see him, hammer off some shots, and I did try getting some B-roll as well. Hopefully that's come out all right. But this wind is causing me an absolute nightmare, to put it politely. And I was given a tip once: if it's windy, take off your lens hood. However, the problem I've got is I'm shooting straight into the sun. It's winter, the sun is very low. It would have just been straight down the lens, so I can't do that. So I've battled with the wind to try and get some B-roll for you guys of the kingfisher just perched up in the tree. We'll see how that comes out. If it was any good, I'll stick it up along with the pictures now. And yeah, there's my 5 tips. 5 items that I couldn't live without for my wildlife photography. So I'm going to see if I can see what the bird was flitting around over there, and we'll come back and we'll sign out in a bit. Okay, so just having a slow bimble back to the car now, and just had another good little session there. Stone chat, I believe. It was very silhouetted because I was shooting into the sun, but images seem to have come out actually really nicely. So I think this just goes to prove, doesn't it? I always need to have that mentality, as I said in the last video, when things don't seem like they're going right, almost dismiss the whole trip, and something awesome happens with the red kite, happens at Langford Lowfields with the fox, today with the kingfisher and the stone chat. Yeah, so absolutely fantastic. So just to come back and summarize then about my point with regards to 5 bits of essential equipment for me, for my wildlife photography. I didn't touch on, obviously, camera and lens, because let's be fair about this. If you're just looking to start a journey into wildlife photography, or you're already into wildlife photography, camera and lens is already there. And I don't feel it's something I need to stress on too much, because there's probably a million videos out there already about, oh, buy this camera for wildlife photography, you need this lens for wildlife photography. And yes, let's be fair, you do need the right gear. Obviously I use the Sony A1. If you don't have that kind of money, look at a Canon 7D Mark II. As far as lenses are concerned, yes, you want a fast aperture, but you also need a long zoom, and you will just have to buy the best within your budget. It's essential to have a decent frame rate in your camera. It's essential to have a long zoom. You know, you also look at a lot of the new lenses that they're bringing out as well. Mirrorless lenses, both Sony and Canon do an 800mm lens now. Yeah, a zoom that goes to 800mm, but I think it's an f8. So the whole point about having fast lenses, especially with modern cameras, is they're not afraid to ramp up the ISO, and you sacrifice some of that light from a wider aperture. But yeah, you know what? If you want to look into the depths of what gear, what camera, what lens. Just search and you'll pull up a million videos. But I did one as well about basically budget wildlife photography gear. You can go back and check that out. I did that quite a while ago. And it is true, you can get good gear second hand on a budget and just get what you can afford. But the 5 things I've mentioned today are essential gear that I wouldn't, I think that's a kestrel just there. I'll check it out in a minute. Essential gear that won't cost the earth, that you should probably, if don't already have, look at in the January sales. So anyway, I'm going to sign out now from what has actually turned out to be a relatively successful little trip out. Only been out for a couple of hours. Obviously the wind has caused me problems, but it's been great to actually see that kingfisher, the stone chats at the end, and watching the red kites, if nothing else, even if the photos didn't come out all right. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm going to go home and I'm going to warm up. So obviously if you've liked this video, then do give us the old thumbs up. It really does help promote the channel. And if you don't already, drop us a subscribe from down the bottom, hit that notification bell to stay up to date with our videos. We do try and obviously release them weekly. The other week was the first time I'd missed a week all year, actually for longer than a year. So yeah, do stay up to date with our videos. And all that's left for me to say then is, just as the wind's picking up, this is Mike out. Take care and be safe, everyone. Peace.